March 6, 1944 begins like hundreds of other days in the skies over Europe. Cold. Grey. Unforgiving. The kind of morning that seeps into bone and machine alike. At RAF Leiston in eastern England, the air smells of damp grass, oil, and exhaust. Mechanics move with practiced urgency, collars pulled tight, hands numb as they check fuel lines, ammunition belts, control surfaces. Somewhere in the distance, engines cough, then roar to life, one after another, as if the field itself is waking up. Second Lieutenant Robert S. Johnson is 22 years old. He has been in combat for 9 days. Not 9 missions. 9 days. His logbook still smells new. His combat experience, until this morning, consists mostly of long hours of tension followed by relief. Escort the bombers. Watch the sky. Come home. That is how it is supposed to go. That is how everyone hopes it will go. No one knows that in a few hours, Johnson will be alone over Germany, facing 14 enemy fighters, with no support, no backup, and no good options. No one knows that in 3 minutes, everything the world believes about air combat, about numbers, about survival, is about to be challenged. In early 1944, the air war over Europe is not a contest of bravery or skill alone. It is mathematics written in blood. Every morning, American bombers rise from English fields in formation so large they distort the horizon. 500 aircraft at a time. Sometimes more. Each B-17 Flying Fortress carries 10 men. 10 live sealed inside aluminum skin and fuel vapor, flying at 25,000 feet through flak and fighter fire. The 8th Air Force is losing them at a rate that makes planners physically ill. On bad days, 1 bomber in 4 does not return. The math is simple and horrifying. Crews are expected to complete 25 missions to go home. At current loss rates, the statistical chance of surviving a full tour hovers near 0. This is not pessimism. It is arithmetic. The problem is not courage. The problem is range. American fighters can protect the bomber's pathway. Republic P-47 Thunderbolts are rugged, heavily armed, fast in a dive. But they drink fuel. Even with drop tanks, their escort radius ends before the bombers reach the heart of Germany. When the fighters turn back, the bombers continue alone. The Luftwaffe knows exactly where this happens. German pilots wait in the gaps, patient as wolves. Messerschmitt Bf-109s and Focke-Wulf 190s orbit at altitude, listening to the radio chatter, watching the escorts peel away. They strike in the silence that follows. Head-on attacks. Cannon fire at closing speeds of 600 miles per hour. They know the bombers cannot outrun them. They know help is gone. Engineers try everything. Auxiliary fuel cells. Stripped armor. Reduced armament. Nothing closes the gap. The bombers need a fighter that can fly to Berlin and back. No such aircraft exists. Until it does. North American aviation unveils the P-51 Mustang, a fighter born almost by accident. Designed originally for the British, refined through necessity, transformed by a single decision that changes everything. Replace the American Allison engine with a British Rolls-Royce Merlin. Give it a laminar flow wing that slices through the air with ruthless efficiency. On paper, the Mustang can escort bombers all the way to Berlin and return. On paper. In practice, early pilots call it something else. A widowmaker. A death trap. A coffin with wings. The complaints are precise. The canopy creates blind spots that swallow entire quadrants of sky. In a dogfight, blind spots kill. The fuel system is complex and unforgiving. Switch tanks at the wrong moment, and the engine starves. The propeller windmills uselessly. Gravity takes over. The landing gear is narrow and fragile. Pilots survive combat only to cartwheel across muddy runways in showers of sparks and torn aluminum. But the range is undeniable. So the Mustangs deploy anyway. Through the winter of 1943, fighter groups convert from Thunderbolts to P-51s. Pilots grumble. They miss the Thunderbolt's radial engine, its ability to absorb punishment and keep flying. The Mustang feels light, fast, unforgiving. It rewards precision and punishes mistakes. One of these skeptical pilots is a farm boy from central Iowa. Robert Johnson grew up where machines mattered more than pedigree. Flat land. Cornfields stretching to the horizon. Farms measured by how much work could be finished before dark. His family ran a modest operation. Hogs. Grain. Dairy cows. Money was tight. Equipment was old. There was a 1932 Ford tractor that broke down constantly. Magneto problems. Carburetor issues. Oil leaks. Most farmers would have junked it. Johnson's father could not afford to. So 12-year-old Robert learned to fix it. He read manuals by kerosene lamp. Disassembled parts on the kitchen table. Cleaned components in solvent. Reassembled them by logic and feel. The tractor ran. Kept running. His father stopped calling the mechanic in town. By 16, Johnson was fixing neighbors' equipment for cash. Tractors. Trucks. Threshers. He developed a reputation. Fast. Reliable. Cheap. He saved every dollar in a coffee can under his bed. There was a grass airstrip 20 miles south. A barnstormer ran 15-minute flights for $1. Johnson rode his bicycle there every Saturday. Paid his $1. Climbed into a biplane. Felt the moment the wheels left the earth. The world changed shape from the air. He came back every week. The barnstormer noticed the quiet farm kid who never missed a Saturday. Offered him a deal. Work the strip. Fuel planes. Patch fabric. Service engines. In exchange, flight lessons. Johnson accepted without hesitation. He soloed after 8 hours. Earned his private license at 17. His commercial license soon after. Flew cargo. Mail. Auto parts. Learned weather the hard way. Learned navigation by dead reckoning. Learned mechanical improvisation at 4,000 feet with nowhere to land. On December 7, 1941, he heard the news on a radio in a hangar. He enlisted the next morning. The Army Air Forces did not rush him to combat. They trained him. Hard. 86 Texans. P-40 Warhawks. Formation flying. Gunnery. Aerobatics. Navigation. He was not flashy. He was reliable. Instructors trusted him. By February 1944, Johnson arrived in England and joined the 357th Fighter Group. The group was new. Inexperienced. Learning the Mustang together. Veterans briefed them without ceremony. You will not see the fighter that kills you. You will see the one you are chasing. Survive 5 missions, and your odds improve. Most do not survive 5. Johnson listened. Took notes. Asked questions. His first missions were uneventful. Long hours. No enemy contact. Adrenaline held in check for 7 hours at a time. Hands shaking afterward. Relief mixed with disappointment. On March 5, the squadron received orders for a maximum range escort mission. A ball-bearing plant deep inside Germany. Long flight. Dangerous territory. The briefing was blunt. Stick close. Conserve fuel. If separated, go home. Do not try to be a hero. New pilots who try to be heroes die. The mission launched before dawn. Engines roared. Exhaust flames flickered blue. Mustangs climbed through cloud and broke into sunlight at 15,000 feet. Bombers stretched ahead in combat boxes that scarred the sky with contrails. For 2 hours, everything went smoothly. Then the radio crackled. Bandits high and north. Tracer fire streaked across the sky. German fighters dove through the bombers, fired, and climbed away. The fight exploded across 20 miles of airspace. Johnson turned with his leader. Lost him in cloud. Called out. No response. Protocol was clear. He turned west. 10 minutes later, he saw them. A single B-17, crippled. 2 engines dead. Smoke trailing. Falling behind the formation. 14 German fighters circling it, taking turns. Professional. Methodical. Killing by schedule. Johnson checked his fuel. Half tanks. Enough to go home. Not enough for what he was about to do. Logic said leave. Training said leave. Arithmetic screamed leave. He pushed the throttle forward and dove. What follows lasts 3 minutes. It rewrites everything. Johnson's Mustang tears downward, accelerating past 400 miles per hour. He pulls up behind the nearest Focke-Wulf and fires. The fighter disintegrates. The Germans react instantly. 2 Messerschmitts turn toward him. He draws them away from the bomber, reverses, fires again. One explodes. The other disengages. The sky becomes chaos. Johnson attacks again and again. Head-on passes. Vertical maneuvers. Aggression so absolute it defies logic. German pilots hesitate. Mistakes appear. Fighters fall. Rounds tear through Johnson's aircraft. Hydraulic fluid sprays across the canopy. The windshield cracks. Control forces stiffen. He keeps flying. His ammunition runs out. He bluffs. Turns into enemy fighters with empty guns, forcing them to break. The bomber dives into cloud cover. Johnson escorts it until the English coast appears. He limps home. Lands without hydraulics. Stops 10 feet from a fence. His aircraft is riddled with holes. He is alive. The gun camera footage confirms the impossible. 1 pilot. 14 fighters. At least 6 destroyed. 3 minutes. Word spreads. The Mustang's reputation changes overnight. Engineers study the film. Pilots study the tactics. Doctrine shifts. Aggression becomes policy. Energy management replaces caution. Loss rates drop. The air war turns. The P-51 does not win the war alone. But it makes victory possible. It escorts bombers to Berlin. Hunts German fighters on their own airfields. Strips the Luftwaffe of experienced pilots faster than they can be replaced. By D-Day, the Allies own the sky. Johnson flies 73 missions. He survives the war. Returns to Iowa. Lives quietly. Fixes machines. Raises a family. He never calls himself a hero. He saw men who needed help. So he helped. 3 minutes over Germany changed the war. And the echo never faded.